Welcome to another F-Car Guy video. Today I'm going to upgrade the key on my Ferrari. The reason for it is, one, just to mix things up a little bit. This is my spare key. To give you an idea of the condition of my current key, let me just quickly take that out of the bag. The condition of the current key wasn't that great at all. So just to sort of talk you through why I'm doing it. One is, when I started using the car, I started using the original key, and it just kind of got to me that for such a nice car, it's quite a rubbish key. Second is, if you have your key on a key ring, which let's face it, most people do, it naturally starts rubbing off the paint around the edges where the key ring goes through. So because I don't drive the car every single day, there's no need for me to have this on a key ring, so I generally just keep this off the key ring. Unfortunately though, when you take it in to get your car serviced, they always give it back to you on a key ring again, so clearly they've put one on and you can see where it starts to scratch the paint. So I looked at it and I thought, let's take it apart and I'll see if I can refurbish it, repaint it and that sort of stuff. I stripped it apart and I don't know, I just thought it's a bit more work than I really wanted to do. And then I started looking at other alternatives and I found some interesting ones. So yes, there's plenty of these red clamshell covers that you can buy quite cheaply as well, sort of 20-30 pounds. But it does make you think, if it's only 20-30 pounds, it's probably not going to be that great quality. And as what generally happened to me is you go down the rabbit hole and you start looking at all the aftermarket options. One of the aftermarket options that I found was this company called Koshigroup, which I believe are somewhere in Europe, and they make these. I'm hoping that's showing up. I don't think it's focusing that well. Anyway, I'll show you the real thing in a minute, but they make these carbon keys. And they're not pretend carbon, they are real, genuine carbon, front to back. It's not just a cover, whereas when you look at this, it's obviously plastic painted. The carbon ones are full carbon. I looked briefly at these black ones that they do, and I thought, well, that looks good. What I like particularly about these is, if we just look at the original key again, it's quite an old-fashioned looking key, I get that, but yeah, I like the look of that, that's great, but its worst angle is that one, because you've got the entire face of the key dominated by this ugly black rubbery button. Pretty ugly. So I thought, well, if I get the black one, it's kind of all mixed in, that looks quite good. But then down the rabbit hole I went, because I saw this here and it says, what colour would you like? I thought, okay, colours. What have you got? White, yellow, orange, until I found, right at the bottom, blue. And I thought to myself, well, I've got a blue car, that probably looks like a good idea. Let's try it. So I did. I contacted Koshigroup and they informed me that they don't deliver to the UK, but then they directed me to their distributor, which is TMC Motorsport in the UK, and then on TMC's website you then get all the various options there. So this one was £145, which, granted, it's a lot of money, I get that, but in the context of things, it's not too bad. So anyway, I pulled the trigger, got that delivered. It took a couple of days, pretty good service from TMC Motorsport, and it arrived. Let me get this under some better light so I can show you what it looks like close up. So there's the close-up view of them. Now thankfully they've arrived a lot darker in colour than what they look like in the pictures. In fact, as I'm sitting here looking at the screen of my phone, even the phone is showing up a bit brighter. Well, they actually are. They're actually a slightly darker blue, which for me is perfect because it matches the Tour de France blue colour of my car. So here's where it gets interesting. Like I said, on the face of it, they look almost like they could just be painted like that, but they are genuinely carbon fibre all the way through. Think of the weight saving I'll have in the car. Wow. That was sarcasm, by the way. So anyway, that's the key covers. That's all you sort of get with it. If I take you back over to the original key. So what we've got is when you pull it apart, if you've ever changed the battery on your key fob, you'll know that you take off, it's this side comes off first. So that bit comes off and it reveals the inside of the key, to which you can see that side of things, obviously where you can replace the batteries. I'm going to replace the batteries at the same time as well. It takes 2 batteries, and they are these CR1220s. So 2 of those, one stacked on top of the other, and then it's held in place by that ring, and then that slides in between there. So like I said, normally all you can see is that when you pull that out. So if you then take this out, it reveals the back of the side that has the buttons on it. You do just pry that out. There's no clips or anything, or screws, should I say, that holds that in. You just pry it out. And then once you get that out, the rubber buttons, again, they'll just pry out with a pry tool. The tricky bit is to get the Ferrari emblem out. Now that was held in, I've cleaned it up now, but it was just held in with double-sided tape. You can still see a little bit left in there. I heated the key up because I was quite confident when I was doing all this that I wasn't going to be using this again, so I heated it up and I pried it out myself. But another way that I've seen people do it online is to turn the cover around and drill a hole in the middle. Obviously try not to go through the badge, and then once you have the hole in the middle, again heat it up and then push something through the other side to prise it out. But provided you're not using those, again, it's kind of irrelevant the condition you get them in. You can see where I damaged that side, and that was intentional. I wanted to damage the cover and not the emblem, the Cavallino, whatever we call him. And he is, granted I can't pick this up on camera, but he's actually made of metal, and he's quite heavy for something so small. So yeah, I don't know if you buy the aftermarket ones and you buy an aftermarket one where the badge is already in there, I'd suspect it would probably be plastic with like a metal or a chrome dip on it. That's solid metal. So you want to be using that again and not some sort of cheap knockoff of it. It's a good opportunity as well just to clean out all the stuff, all the dirt and things that builds up around here, inside the key, inside here as well. These things get a bit disgusting. Actually, that had a really good clean. So yeah, we're now ready. I'm quite excited actually to put all this together. I'm going to set up the tripod and we'll do that now. So I think I'll deal with the Cavallino right at the end. So push him away, keep him safe. It's been a while since I took this key apart, so I've got to remember the order in which it goes back in, but I can safely assume that this goes back in first. It's actually exactly the same size every way around, so I'm going to quickly get my original key. That's right, yep. Boot unlock. boot unlock goes down the bottom towards there. I'm telling you that, I'm sure you've got a spare key, you can check it yourself, can't you? That seems to be... okay. Right. So if we have a look, can you see the holes? They're the same size, but I can't see through that hole, so I'm just going to have to... oh, I wonder if I have to drill... oh no, no, that's coming out. It looks like the hole was drilled the correct size, but whatever sort of clear resin that they put over the top just made that hole a bit smaller. If that doesn't work, I'll have to get the drill kit out and open that up. Okay, it seems right. Well, actually, I don't know. It's quite raised. It does seem a little bit raised to me. Now it doesn't want to come back off. There we go. Let's have a look at these two. So just looking to see if the holes are the same size. The holes do seem smaller on here, and the other thing I'm looking at is that channel through here. It's definitely not as clean as this channel, because if you have a look at, and I don't know if the camera will pick it up, yeah, you can see that sort of see these lines here. They're expecting a nice, clean, deep channel in here to sit inside, and I don't think that is the same on this one. I don't know whether I have to clean that up. I'm going to take a closer look at that off camera, because I appreciate this makes for quite boring watching. But I think, yeah, I'll just do a little bit of cleaning up, because I can see, and it's not immediately obvious on the camera, that just like those holes where the clear coat was making them a little bit smaller, we've got the same sort of issue inside here. So I think I'll just clean that up a little bit, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, so I've managed to get to the point where this is on. It is more raised than it is on the original key. But we do have problems. So unless I'm missing something, or unless they haven't been manufactured correctly, there's none of this sort of stuff built into these ones, and this sort of border around here is how that clamshell cover clips into the key along these ridges. So when you fit that and you push that on there, it sort of clicks into place. These don't have that, so they literally just sit on it, and there's nothing to hold them on at all. So that's my first problem, I've got no way of actually fitting and securing that to there. But the bigger problem is that there's quite a thickness difference between these two. There we are. So it's a few millimeters thicker, and then on top of that, because this doesn't push all the way down, the problem we obviously have is when you push one of these buttons, it pushes a piece of rubber through the back, which then makes contact with these buttons. If I place that over there where it will actually go, no matter how hard I push that, it does not make contact with the buttons underneath. So I'm really disappointed with this. Firstly, that doesn't fit on there correctly, and you've got to sort of almost cut away or peel away some of the clear coat, because the clear coat is too thick. I mean, I can live with that because you can't see it. It still doesn't go down all the way, and it sits quite proud, but the biggest issue is I can't actually fit it. There's no way of fitting that on. I mean, I can't glue it because this cover has to come off when I change the battery, and I won't be able to do that. And then of course the other issue is, even if I did somehow find a way to fix that to that, it doesn't make contact with the buttons underneath because it's too big. So all in all, rather disappointing. I can't actually use this at all. It just doesn't work. So I'm going to have to go back to the manufacturer and ask them, or back to TMC and ask the question, A, is this how it's meant to be without all of these? And B, have you actually fitted one of these to a key before? It does list on the website that the same key fob is compatible for a number of different Ferrari keys, but that's because the keys are the same for an FF, for a 458, for an F12, for Ferraris of that era. It's not like I've got the wrong one. Well, I don't think so anyway. It just doesn't fit. So yeah, that's disappointing. I will stop the video here for now, and I'm going to have to go back to TMC and ask them for some guidance if they have any, and I'll update you.